Hey everyone, JVD here from the Villains Man, bringing you another comic book review over Batman I Am Bane, issues 16 through 20 from Volume 3 of Batman under the Rebirth Banner. This has all been kind of building up since issue 1, where Bane is now coming from Psycho Pirate. Back in I Am Suicide storyline, Batman went and took Psycho Pirate from Bane, who he figured out was the only thing keeping Bane from craving venom, which he's known for using. And Batman basically needs Psycho Pirate to cure Gotham Girl, who he affected in the I Am Gotham story in the beginning of this whole Rebirth series. And Bane has come to Gotham for Batman. This is a really good story. The ending is kind of lackluster to a degree, but there's a lot of good points in the book, a lot of things that show Batman who he is and what exactly he will do to get what he needs. And it doesn't matter the cost to a degree. And I would say there's not much of a degree that he holds back to. He does some pretty irrational things that I would not expect him to do in this book. And it really says something about Batman since this whole series, like what he's willing to do to protect those he loves. And it all kind of went back to him questioning his mortality in the beginning of this series, and how he's trying to preserve it by protecting those he loves. Now, Catwoman shows back up in this, who was sentenced to death by all the murders that she had, and we recently found out during this rooftop storyline that she wasn't she really didn't do these crimes, and she has ran and she's came back to help Batman with Bane, and she had broke his back back in I Am Suicide, and that's what made him get back on the Venom to help him heal up so he could quickly come to Gotham to get a Psycho Pirate. All this seems to take place really quick, because you go from I Am Suicide, and by the time they leave the island that day, it seems like that night that they're back in Gotham, you have the rooftop storyline. And then Catwoman disappears and Batman goes on to find exactly what happened. And now here we are, I would say maybe a couple days later at Bane's in Gotham. So it's a really good storyline. I really wish the ending would have been a little bit more impactful, but I think there's maybe some more Bane after the button, because they're really pushing the button at this time, which is after this, which leads us to a bunch of this Watchmen stuff going on. But to kind of get to some spoilers here, when Batman hits the bat signal to, and it's basically, I guess, to call Catwoman, and Gordon's very mad about it. And I really like that about Gordon, because it shows you that as much as Gordon trusts Batman, he's still going to put his job as being the commissioner of Gotham first. And if Catwoman, being a wanted criminal, means a lot to society to have her captured, he's going to do it regardless of Batman even confessing basically his love for her in that rooftop storyline. And so I really like that about Gordon here. No matter what, no matter how he trusts Batman, no matter what's at stake, Catwoman still has to be arrested. Excuse me there. But I really like to see that. But Batman does something that I really didn't expect him at the beginning of this book. It's kind of funny. They're at Batburger, which is all Batman themed, and you can Jokerize your seasoning. Batman tells basically Dick, Damian, and Jason Todd, and Thomas is there, to stay out of this fight. This is not their fight, and he's afraid that Bane will get to them just to get to him. And he is warning them, and he knows he's not going to. And he basically winds up capturing them and putting them in the Fortress of Solitude, where Superman watches over them to make sure Bane doesn't come for him. And that's the really odd part about this. Okay, if Batman has explained to Superman that Bane is coming to Gotham, why not have Superman stop him? I mean, seriously, he is the most powerful hero in DC Comics. Not to me, he's not, but he's considered to be. But why not have him just be like, hey, Clark, I need some help. Please, just go stop Bane while I cure Gotham Girl for, she has to do these things with Psycho Pirate for at least 5 sessions to cure her of her, fear. Please just go stop him. And he doesn't, and I think that's weird. He'll just hold, the Bat Brats for him, but yet he won't go stop Bane. I thought that was really odd. But then again, maybe that just shows you the respect that Clark has for Bruce to let Bruce do this on his own. Because, this is what he is, he knew this was coming, and it's always seemed to be his job to stop Bane, considering what Bane has put him through. So maybe that just speaks to Superman's, level of respect for Bruce to let him do this on his own. Even though Bruce tells him, I can't let Bane get to these guys. So why would Superman just let him get to Batman? I don't understand the logic in that. Even though, the respect thing kind of plays, it's just stupid. And really kind of, it makes no sense that you would talk to him about Bane coming, but not let him help. But I guess that goes through the whole point of the story with I Am Gotham, where he was trying to get the Justice League to come in to help, and they were a little bit late. And even in the Night of the Monster Men, where they don't show up to Gotham to help fight off all these kaiju-sized monsters, but yet they're there for the cleanup at the end. So maybe that just plays into a lot of that. I mean, I guess it just depends on the way that you see it. But anyways, instead of capturing them, Bane winds up catching Catwoman, the Signal, Gordon, and Bronze Tiger. And basically he's going to make a trade for him, which Batman won't have it. And that's where things get freaking crazy. Bane goes on a rampage, no, you can't tell me no. And this is what's really cool is that Bane goes on through this tirade here, saying that, he's not all these great Batman villains. He is Bane. He's not the Joker. But he doesn't call him the Joker. He's like, I'm not the clown that laughs at everybody's, torment. I'm not the man who, gets off on fear. He doesn't call them by their name. And every one of them is just like a punch to Batman. And Batman's taking it. And he's doing all this just so Catwoman can get free and set Bane up for this final encounter. And it's kind of funny because this is twice we've seen Batman let Bane literally beat the shit out of him just so Catwoman can, basically bring his plan to fruition. And that, like I said, that just goes back to show you the degree that Batman will go to protect the people that he loves. And while he's taking this beating, and it's leading him up to Arkham, they have set up Arkham by freeing all the villains to weaken Bane, to help take him down, because they have Psycho Pirate there with Gotham Girl, and he has a mask on while they're trying to give her these sessions. And to show you the degree that they're going to, Alfred is there with a pistol to Psycho Pirate's head while they're doing this session. Now, Bane goes through Arkham fighting all of Batman's rogues. It's very much like the setup for Nightfall, where Bane lets all the basically he breaks into Arkham and lets all the villains out just to weaken Batman so he can break his back. So this is a very reminiscent of that. He's going through all these villains, and it doesn't seem like anybody is much of a match for him. And then that kind of makes me sad, because he comes across Amygdala, and which he fought in Nightfall, and Solomon Grundy, and you don't see Bane really fight them. It kind of off panels it that he beats them, and that kind of makes me upset, because he beats down Solomon Grundy. And my problem I've always had with Solomon Grundy is that Solomon Grundy sometimes have been depicting to be a threat to Superman, but then he's been taken out by Batman. And even in the I Am Gotham storyline, Batman takes out Solomon Grundy. So I guess the way Tom King's writing him here is he's still, this low-level Batman villain and not this threat to Superman. Eventually someone's going to take that, change it. It always seems to happen. But there's a point here where he comes across Mr. Freeze. And as you can tell, Batman's even giving these guys their arsenals. If you see Firefly completely suited out. And Mr. Freeze freezes him, and he puts him in 2,737 cubic pounds of ice. And he talks about how he had once experimented with Venom trying to bring his wife back. And he knows the extent of Venom. and that you can only break off, I think it was almost like 1,000 pounds less than what he's in. Would be the most that you could break on with Venom, and Bane just shatters it, which scares Mr. Freeze. But you're also learning during all this that Batman has offered all the Arkham inmates better conditions during their imprisonment, much like he did the ventriloquist in I Am Suicide. So, once again, this talks about the degree that Batman will go to protect those that he cares about. And obviously, he cares a lot about Gotham Girl since her brother had wound up dying. So, and it's really interesting. Like I said, this is basically, the whole Nightfall thing where it's just turned to reverse on Bane, to kind of help weaken him, which he keeps fluffing himself up with Venom. And there at the end, basically comes down to him and Batman, and there's another slugfest between them. And Batman winds up taking him out, barely though, almost to the point where it kills him. And there's a nice little scene there where Batman's got his fist up and he's all bloody, and it kind of reminds me of the cover to issue 2 of The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. It's very reminiscent of that. But otherwise, like I said, and it's kind of lackluster. He just takes Bane out, and Bane's laying there. But there's some insight here. They really kind of compared the Batman and Bane together, basically with their love and their need to have their mother and to impress them during their training after their deaths. So, and you kind of really get to see that in I Am Suicide, the comparison between the two, and it's kind of got Catwoman's back history kind of thrown how she kind of fits with them too. So they're basically a lot of the same character here. And I'm curious to see where this is all going to turn out. I know they've got Bane Conquest. I plan on reading that. Like I said, I think there's some Bane after these 2 issues with the button between Batman and Flash coming on here. There's also, like I had mentioned during the Batburger thing with the Joker eye seasoning, which is like white, green, and red. And there's some funny moments there in the book where Thomas cannot believe that Bruce is going to eat a burger with a fork and knife. And he's all like, "Oh my God, tell me this is not happening." And the Bat Brats are like, "Yeah, this is how he is." And just shows you the etiquette that Bruce Wayne has, for being a playboy billionaire. Also, it's kind of funny that Damian calls Jason Todd Red Hoodie instead of Red Hood. I thought that was really hilarious. And at first, when I was reading this, I was like, how is no one listening to this conversation they're having about Bane? And then you realize there's no one else there. So I'm assuming that Bruce just bought the place out for the day. I'm assuming maybe obviously he doesn't own the franchise because he finds it very distasteful. So kind of a really good funny point there in the book that I thought was really good. But other than that, this story is really good. Like I said, the lackluster end with Batman headbutting Bane and taking him out kind of left this whole thrill ride through Arkham and, trying to stop Bane kind of at a dead end just with a headbutt. I was hoping there would be a little bit more to take him out. But I guess once you realize that it's kind of like Dark Nightfall, where Bane sets all the villains up against Batman to weaken him and the roles are reversed, it's kind of good. Like I said, I was just hoping there had been more there at the end to make it a little bit more impactful. But yeah, if you're going to read it, just read it with the rest of this. So Batman's run's been pretty good. It's exactly not Zack Snyder level with the New 52, but it is still really, really good. And obviously Tom King is going on to write a lot more for DC, so this book is going to get really good. But I'm JVD. This has been my review for Batman I Am Bane. Keep reading, guys.